Vancouver's call for help in responding to homelessness came as it explained how it plans to clean up the city's only legal tent encampment. Over the past 3 years, people have been living at Crab Park. 50 are still there with nowhere else to go. And as part of the frustration, Vancouver listed off all the things it does to respond to homelessness compared to other Metro Vancouver cities. Vancouver operates more than 1,200 shelter beds, but based on population and evenly distributed across the region, should really only be responsible for around 420. What it's asking is that other municipalities pick up the slack.
To ensure that vulnerable people are being taken care of wherever they are, and that they don't just have to come to Vancouver because we're the only ones providing those services. We really need it across the region.
The same goes for supportive housing in the region and wraparound services. Now, Vancouver does have the most homeless people in the region at 2,420. But has what Vancouver has built, is it drawing in the region's most vulnerable? Here in Burnaby, the city says no, its homeless come from Burnaby, and the city is heeding the call to do more. Just this year, it opened a 24-hour, 40-bed winter shelter.
Having said that, we recognize that there's still much more we can do as a city and in the region, and because we know that people are getting churned away because the shelters are full.
What Vancouver's demand really comes down to is more funding from Ottawa, from the province, for things like shelters, for supportive housing, and of course all types of housing. Now those requests have been frustrating for some. Maple Ridge, Delta both struck out on a $4 billion federal housing accelerator fund.
But you can't advertise a fund to Canadian cities and say, hey, if you do everything right, if you reduce red tape, if you reduce process, if you get new housing built faster, we'll be there to support you, and then not have the dollars available. Otherwise, just call it what it is. It's a big city fund. It's funds that went to Vancouver, Surrey, Toronto, Montreal.
The latest budget from the federal government drops on April 16th, and cities in Metro Vancouver say they'll be watching it for increased funding. That's so they can help with Vancouver's demand for a regional response to homelessness that's more equitable. Chad Pawson, CBC News, Burnaby.